Hello and welcome to the Wednesday night Grumpy Sound Guy show. Tonight we're going to talk about redundancy and the importance of redundancy and some of the challenges that we deal with when we're gigging and when we're trying to kind of, get things where they need to be. And get through the night, get through the gig, get through the day of bands and festivals and that sort of thing. So this video is going to really relate to production guys and band guys both. So make sure you stick around, for that. And then before we kind of get into all that, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll know when I'm posting videos and so you can show your support for this kind of content. We have been getting huge numbers, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30,000 interactions per month over on some of the other social media sites. So we're really trying to drive that number up here on YouTube as well. 75% of you guys watching are not subscribed, so it costs nothing to hit that subscription button. Please do that. Please hit the subscription button and support this content. And then stick around for at the end of the video. This is not going to be a long video today. We're going to go about 10 minutes. And then I have an announcement to make at the end of the video you're going to want to stick around for. So redundancy, let's just define redundancy. In my mind, in my world, redundancy is just a matter of having a backup plan for everything. I'm extremely detail oriented with everything that I do, whether I'm drumming or whether I'm doing production work. I'm very OCD. I kind of drive my staff crazy sometimes with that stuff, but it's just the way I'm wired. I don't really know how to be any other way but that way. But it also makes me an incredible, guy to do business with, because I dot all the I's and I cross all the T's, and I always make sure that we have, a backup plan in place when things fail. I carry, and this is the thing that most people don't understand about band life and production life, is that on average, I carry at least another 35 or 40% of gear that I don't need to do your gig, just in case something was to go wrong. That's in terms of cabling. Amplifiers is a big one. I just dumped $3,500 in amplifiers 60 days ago just to have backup amps in case, God forbid, an amp was to go down during a festival or, something like that, because stuff happens, man. I am super on top of all of my preventive maintenance, protocol and all that kind of stuff. So I'm someone who goes to great lengths to try and take care of the systems that I use, and you still are going to have failures. You're still going to have situations where things are going to go wrong, or you're going to get somewhere that has horrible power, and that is not going to fare well for you and your systems, and may cause you some problems, that way. So having redundancy in place and having those backup plans, extra gear, all that kind of stuff in place really goes a long way in the consistency of who you are as a production company or as a band. I'll give you a great example of this. My band J3 just did a show, a club show last Friday night. 3 bars into the first song of the second set, the bass player's amp quits working. Just out of the blue, super cool orange Terror bass head, 1,000-watt Terror bass head he's used, for several years with no issue, never had any problems, and the thing just quit working, period, done. Took us about, 20 or 30 minutes to be able to troubleshoot that. And basically what we did was we just came out of, here's where redundancy really helps you out. I had an extra amp channel in my amp rack for monitors. We only run 3 monitor mixes, so I typically do 6. So I had, in the 1 4-channel amp we were using, an extra channel of power. So what we did was we treated his bass cabinets as if it was a monitor wedge, and we came out of that and then used the the bass channel in the console as the preamp for it. And that got us fired back up and got us through the rest of the night. We were able to play the second set without issue. But, had I not had 4-channel amps in my rack, or not had, like, if I only brought just the bare minimum of what I need to do that gig, then, we'd have kind of been SOL. You know what I mean? We tried to run him direct, and just run him into the system and pump him back through the monitors. But with the tiny club we were in and the kind of stage volume that we deal with in our band, it just was not working out. And I mean, bass players are tough, man, because they got to have that low end presence. If you're in a band that's all direct and you're all in-ear monitors, then that would not have been a problem whatsoever. But because we're a band that's still addicted to wedges, it's a little different scenario. And, we're kind of old school. The guys in my band are older cats and wonderful, fabulous musicians. But, we're all hard of hearing, and the things are what they are, As much as you hear me rant about the importance of low stage volume, we're not a band that does very well that way. So having those redundancy things put in place really goes a long way. I carry at least 2, sometimes 3 snare drums with me, a bunch of different drum parts in case something was to break or something like that, extra cymbals, that sort of thing. I don't really carry an extra set of pedals, but I've never been in a situation where I had a catastrophic pedal failure outside of breaking a bass drum beater one time, and now I carry an extra bass drum beater, so yeah, those things are super huge, important, man, and trying to do business in an intelligent way and trying to be a company or a band that is prepared for anything. I read all the time and talk to my guys that are on the road full time all the time about the redundancy they have in place. Most bands are carrying 2 of everything: 2 guitar rigs, 2 keyboard rigs, half of another drum set, that sort of thing, and just extra bass amps, the whole 9 yards. It never made sense to me how some bass players and guitar players show up at a gig with 1 guitar and kind of do the show that way. You should at least have 2 or 3 in case you break a string or you have an alternate tuning thing to deal with, or, something like that. So all the national bands do it. I know national touring, pro touring audio companies, production companies that are carrying multiple power supplies for a front of house console. They're carrying extra consoles. In my rig, I almost always have a second digital mixer on hand, or at the very least, if it's a small corporate gig, I might have a second analog mixer on hand just in case things go bad. I've got a backup plan. In the festival rig and the box truck, I think I got an M32 Live and M32C DL32 setup. In the B rig, it's another M32C DL32 setup, and right now I have the Soundcraft UI24 as kind of a backup, and then I have a couple little 12-channel Mackie analog mixers that can get me through if it was a corporate gig or something small, or something where I didn't need a whole bunch of processing. Just trying to put things in place, man, to get you to where you can go do gigs with confidence, because there's absolutely nothing that makes you look worse than having a failure. Number 1, not being able to troubleshoot it. And then number 2, not being able to have, redundancy built in place of your systems. Having a backup amp or a backup mixer or something like that to help you get through those kind of situations. I call it Murphy proofing things. It's kind of my little slang for it. I like to Murphy proof my systems, which means when Murphy's Law comes to kick us in the teeth, we have other things setting here in place, ready to, keep the show going. We might be down for 10 or 15 minutes, but then we'll be right back up and getting it done. So that's my spiel on redundancy. It's very important. I think it's something you should really, really have built into everything that you do, and have a backup plan and everything that you put your hand to do in life, not just, with your band or your production company, even at home. A lot of times well, I mean, I'm a firm believer, I'll put it this way, that you should have at least 90 days worth of food and water at your house all the time in case the power would go out because of a weather issue or something like that. Or God forbid the power grid would be good to go down for a couple months. So redundancy, man, redundancy. It's really, something that should be part of our life from every perspective. So moving on to our super cool special announcement. Tomorrow is February 1st, and we are going to release and make public our consultation subscription packages on clpaudio.com. Those should be up in the next 48 hours. I will do an official announcement when that happens, but we're still fighting through some of the logistics of, payment and stuff like that. I think we pretty much got it all figured out. I think we got all the promo videos in place and all that kind of stuff. But this is going to give you an opportunity to bring CLP Audio, my staff, and myself onto your team and to make whatever it is that you're doing, your band or your corporation. We have 2 sets of packages, three packages for bands, 3 packages for corporate, where we're doing, schools, churches, nightclubs, municipalities, hotels, that kind of stuff. We're even offering packages for those, especially those that have multiple locations. So it's going to be super cool. Now, the other side of that is I'm going to stop answering the, 6 to 10 messages I get every day, through social media, people wanting advice. There's going to be no more free advice in that manner. We're still going to continue to do the Grumpy Sound Guy content, and we're going to talk about and hit a whole bunch of subjects on a 101 level. But as far as, being able to text me or message me and take up 90 minutes or an hour of my time with me trying to tell you how to do your new in-ear rig or how to market your band or how to bid your events, and things like that. All the stuff, like today I've already been hit with guy, wants to know how to do aux subbing, on a sound system. I had a band contact me that wants me to help them with dealing with agents and all that kind of stuff. In the first band package, the bronze package, is 7 or 8 101 level videos where I basically talk about all that stuff. And that in and of itself is about a $500 value that you're going to get right out of the gate from anyone else on the internet. Like if you notice in your Facebook feed, a lot of times these ads will come up of people who are setting in a studio behind some big console that probably doesn't even belong to them. They probably leased the studio for 2 or 3 hours to shoot their videos, and that's about it, because that's usually how that goes. And they're going to tell you how to mix. They're going to tell you how to market your band. Those services usually cost between $500 and $1,000. It comes with the package 1 bronze band package. That's like $49.95 a month, so I mean, I can't make this, and that's just the beginning of the perks in that package. I can't begin to tell you how much value I have really packed into these packages for you guys. So you're definitely going to want to plug into that. You're definitely going to want to be part of that team, part of the cool club, getting in a preferential treatment kind of scenario with myself, my staff, and CLP Audio and Staging. It's going to get you heavy discounts on hiring us for your gigs to do production, stage rentals, all that kind of stuff. When you're part of our team, then you're going to get preferential treatment. But again, that's going to stop all of the free advice that I have been giving out and probably spending no less than 2 or 3 hours a day answering questions and giving advice over direct messaging, private messaging, email, text, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to reserve all that information, all that wisdom to my monthly subscribers, and then you guys can ask me anything you want. Then we can get together and have dinner and sit down and really, brainstorm about how to make your band the best it can be, how to get your production company where you want it to be, how to get your corporation, your bar, your nightclub, your church where you want to be. And we've pretty much built a whole bunch of stuff in there to fit any budget and to kind of really make this a lot of bang for your buck. So we're super excited. We've been working for 6 months to try and get these packages together, get them dialed in, and we're getting ready to make them public here probably within the next 48 hours. And we're going to kick February off with the CLP audio and staging consultation packages. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you go over to clpaudio.com and check that out. And, keep your eyes open, man, because good stuff's coming in 24. See you around.